Hey, Krishna, we just got back from the Gartner Infrastructure and Operations Conference in Las Vegas. Komprise was a silver sponsor at the show. Lots of energy. It was great connecting with so many customers and partners and industry analysts, of course. And not surprisingly, AI was everywhere at this conference. It was really the theme. Everybody's thinking about it, preparing for it. And we really felt there were three key takeaways. So I thought today it'd be great just to kind of give us your thoughts and share the takeaways.
Absolutely, Darren. Yeah, it was very interesting because in the keynotes from Gartner, the message we heard over and over again is that don't overthink AI. Don't think you have to have some big strategic win with AI. What you really need to do is get ready for AI. Make sure your data is prepared and ready and start with some simple use cases which I thought was very useful because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed with where to begin. So that was the first takeaway. The second takeaway, was very interesting because Gartner on their own came to the conclusion that AI really is not about performance or more storage. It's about data management. And we can show some interesting slides, I think, on that. And, the third is when we talked to a lot of our customers and when we did our session, a lot of the feedback was, how do we prevent data leakage? How do we classify our data? How do we prevent sensitive data from getting into the wrong AI application? So clearly, storage teams are worried about preparing data for AI.
Sense. So let's jump right in and talk about this is some material from one of the sessions you attended. I think that you thought was really well summarized.
Yeah, Gartner actually walked through, some of the myths about AI and storage. A lot of people think, oh, AI, I need GPU-enabled storage. Let me go find some high-performance storage. Or they think AI is going to generate a lot of data and I'm going to need a lot more capacity. What am I going to do? And they kind of busted both those myths and said, only 5% of people are ever going to train a model or even, engineer prompts. 95% of the use cases are people trying to use models for which you don't need performance storage. And you're going to use those models on your corporate data. So you don't need really additional storage either. What you really need is data management. So I thought this donut that they showed was very useful. Data management is most important, even more than performance or capacity. And then they went through use cases and showed how for each of these use cases, besides model training, data management is extremely important. So it's really all about giving structure to all your unstructured data, knowing where your data is, knowing what data is sensitive, and mobilizing the right data to AI. And this is very interesting because this is exactly what we do. And this is exactly what our customers want us to do. So I think, Darren, we have some slides that we showed in our session. This slide actually came from Gartner, but we showed it in our session. It was shown at, was it Gartner Symposium, Darren?
Symposium, yep.
Yeah, and basically the point this slide is trying to make is, even if you're never training your own AI model, you're going to use apps that use AI. And guess what? Look at all those yellow dots. Any AI you bring into your organization, knowingly or unknowingly, is connecting to your data. And 90% of that data is unstructured. So you really need to classify your unstructured data. You need to index your metadata, and you need to be ready for this AI.
So
So,
let's talk about in the session you covered three things that storage teams need to do, because in our survey we found that preparing for AI is a top priority, but there seems to be a little bit of kind of wait, and they know it's coming. So you talked about three things. Let's go through that just to wrap this up.
yeah, I think the biggest problem with unstructured data is that it's scattered everywhere and there's no, defining common format. So first thing you need to do is, find global file intelligence or, some way to index all that data so you can search and find the right data when you need it. Second thing is, that right data, you should be able to filter out sensitive information, and then you should be able to show a workflow that can move that data to your AI application, because AI is not always going to be local. And most important is that there is a systematic way to do this where there's an audit trail of what's being sent, when, and is it going in the right hands? Because data governance is the number one challenge, I think, for data teams with AI.
Makes sense. So Krishna, we talked to a lot of people at the show. Some people will come and ask you, well, how does Komprise do all these things? Can you give us a quick summary?
Yeah, I mean, simply, it's quite simple. Just, have Komprise pointed at your data. We index all the data, and then you can define workflows in Komprise on what data you want to send where, and that's pretty much it. And, we can show you a demo if you're interested.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks for the summary. Again, great to see everybody in Vegas, and we look forward to connecting with you at komprise.com. Thanks, Krishna.
Thank you.